Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to REDCast, the official podcast of the Regional Elite Draft League. This week on the cast, for this undetermined amount of time, we will be reviewing all of the Week 1 replays and making our predictions as we have already headed into Week 2. Joining me on the panel this evening, I have three very fantastic guests. Our first one is a former Yellow Division player that has moved on to play in the NPA, and somebody who has made playoffs in his debut season for the league. Ladies and gentlemen, Lord Zeden, how are you this evening, sir?
Well, I'm not a fantastic guest, and I'm actually an MPL coach.
MPL, my bad, sorry. MPA, MPL. Too many acronyms. Next up, we have returning co-host Specs King from the Blue Division. How are you?
I am great. I'm here to tell everyone why Blue is the best modern draft league format. Don't at me.
Okay.
Only for $40.
And finally, we have a second member of the Blue Division here to guest star on this week's cast. We have the one and only Joqq. How are you this evening?
I'm good, but I hope that's last but not least.
Yeah, well, yeah, a last but not least for sure. All right, so Week 1 as a whole was a pretty mixed bag as in terms of how games go. I think we can all agree. So I think the breakdown is we're just going to start with the Blue Division and our opening game, and then we'll progress from there and make our comments as we progress. So our opening Blue Division match for Red Week 1 was our two guests here this evening. We have Joqq versus King's Reign 87, otherwise known as Specs King. Facing down in what was the most trash talked match in the build up to this season.
Luckily I mocked King.
So I'm going to put that on your screens right now. Is everybody loaded up with the game? And what we'll do is at any point we want to stop and talk about a play, just let me know. Make sure we're all on the same page in terms of turns. And I'll head back and we can rewatch and we'll get the thoughts of the panel on that particular turn. So how about we actually get a lead up to this match? So King and Joqq, you both were heavily heated against each other going into this game. So why don't we start by sort of sharing our thoughts on what this game was going to be and what you expected from the other side. Start with you, King.
Going into this game, I was expecting Joqq to bring the upmost offensive team because defensively, and Bulu fall down, I get dicked. I think we all can agree that expecting was a bunch of setup and stally mons like Celesila, which caught me off guard.
Yeah, for
Wasn't
sure,
fun,
for sure.
But
And Joqq, what were you expecting out of King's End here?
I was expecting him to bring a team that didn't get 6-0'd by Ivysaur, to be honest.
I mean, does Ivysaur 6-0 this team? I mean, maybe.
If Kieran dies, what actually kills Ivysaur?
I don't know. Ice Punch Sorg.
Starting to hit KO.
Does it not really?
No.
Miniature Stank the Tank, man.
Nice.
Kieran doesn't even open it. His team could not kill Ivysaur, so it was a bit disrespectful.
King, you fucking suck.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Would you really have wanted to get
Alright.
on by a Week 1 Ivysaur?
Ivysaur was on the team up until about 20 minutes before the battle.
But,
Yeah,
played
truth,
the
I
mind
have the
game.
messages to
I
prove
made
this.
sure we both mentioned it.
But I also just expected that Toxapex would like fat all over my entire team because nothing killed it, and I expected Registeel to come because it fatted all over my team as well.
Yeah, actually, big points. So,
bringing Registeel.
are we ready? Are we ready to begin? So on the countdown, we'll just start it. Normal pace. Any sort of play you guys want to jump in on, just tell us to stop and make sure that I'm on the correct turn for the viewers.
To be fair, with King, I'd have to stop at every play, but
All right, enough of this trash talk. We're 5 minutes in. Right, okay. So I'm going to start the replay normal speed in 3, 2, 1, and we're going. So turn 1, Celesteela versus Greninja. King's forced to double. And it's just an easy leech seed start.
Celesteela.
where depression came.
I love Celesteela.
Pretty much, Joqq took the early lead by just being Joqq and just doing this.
I mean, it was a fine tactic though. I don't know why Silvally was your switch at that point.
Oh no,
to be
that was
honest,
a fair play on the tactic. Like it paid off.
I like how you just lose to Celesteela.
just lose turn 1 to the Joqq. So we're at turn 6 now. Silvally's coming back in, and it just seems to be this repeating thing where you're forced to parting shot every time with Silvally in order to get things in safely versus this Celesteela.
I like how on turn 8, legit, Joq's team pretty much isn't chipped, and King is
King's already like pretty much lost his Joqq in return. So turn 10, I'd like to call a pause because the prep over the next couple of turns I thought was actually really cool. This sub workup Mega Blastoise set was actually really cool to see in the game.
That was
I think if King didn't have Haze, he probably just lost.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But then again, like Haze is standard on any Peck set, so
yeah, I know, but
it's
I
not
had to bring it because it's genuinely the only way Blastoise even has a chance to touch Toxapex is at +1.
That's true. Right, so I'm moving through the turn, so we're at turn 14 now, which is just it's just a bit of a war between.
Nice standard disgusting shit.
Yeah, it's just a repetitive thing at the minute. I mean, what was
basic Toxapex.jpg.
Turn 20.
I'm at turn 16. Hang on, let me just push through and catch up. Just really quick, when moving through here, what I was waiting for was either a flinch or just a straight up crit that just meant Toxapex lost to the workup set, because that's all Joqq needed for this to work, was just that 30% flinch chance to go off and stop you pressing recover for sure.
It's a 20% chance, just correcting you.
Is it 20%? Sorry.
So
Yeah.
I was getting, I'm pretty sure he clicked it 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
In turn he clicked it 5 times actually. So he should have got 1 flinch.
But that's never
That
happened.
doesn't apply to Pokemon.
Did you say you wanted to call a stop at turn 20?
Yep, because this is where I finally do something else other than just click keep Haze and into Lulu. So we can actually pick up the game from here.
Oh, that's fine. I've just watched all those other stall turns anyway, so.
So
I thought you had
here
something to
I
interest.
realized that his Blastoise couldn't really touch Lulu, so
Yeah, that's I mean this as well, like turn 23, this Leech Seed disable protect variant of Bulu is disgusting, but a very solid bring actually.
1v1 the Celesteela, which is exactly what I wanted it to do.
Well, no, you're right. It
Great
does.
at one
It's a
thing,
very
it's
solid.
probably stalling.
Yeah, it is more of a stall game,
For
but
a mon with its offensive stats, but whatever. King likes these mons apparently.
so I'm current
Turn 25, I make a bit of an awful play.
poison jabbing into the Toxapex, predicting Bulu to come in.
Yeah, but to be fair, I didn't expect him to stay in because Earthquake was like a 75% chance to kill.
Mm-hmm.
So why
Yeah, but
did you
know
stay in
King's
King?
Lucky, so I mean
I
by this
thought
point
about
at least.
double, and I was just like, yeah, I'm going to sack Stalk here.
What, turn 25?
Turn 27?
Oh yeah, okay. Oh right, okay, on the EQ, yeah.
And then, again, Bulu comes out and does his work.
My Blastoise, I don't think, got hacks the entire game. It never burnt the Bulu. It never flinched Toxapex.
I think it did in one of the later turns. It got a flinch in one of the later turns, but it was beyond the point where the game was really like
yeah, I think he got a double
effective.
flinch at some point. But you got Rockstock, which are actually really good versus me at this point.
Turn
Yeah.
31, the Nihilego prediction on Toxapex coming in and hitting it with a T-Bolt was really solid. And then again,
Yeah,
getting
Nihilego
chip
just
onto the
kind of
Silvally
destroys.
as well, the next turn, predicting the switch again. All all very solidly played, like so far. Again, there's no hacks at this point in the game. I'm surprised how little that Silvali's Thunderbolt did in every capacity at turn 35.
The Silvali was a let me double check. It was when the hell ago.
Right.
Makes sense. Luckily, I can see this in your next video, right?
Oh, of course.
Oh god.
It's not like I'm one of the people who only uploads like week 1 and then stops.
That's basically
Yeah.
everybody that isn't me.
Imagine.
I feel sorry for anyone else in blue that has to face off against King. He just stalls too hard.
I mean, that's the entire premise around Toxapex, though. I mean,
That's basically every Celesteela versus Toxapex
I
game.
mean, team, everyone complained about me pretty much drafting Stall, and I couldn't really argue because it really is just a big variant of Stall. But I do have offensive mons that just didn't come this game.
Like Kyurem.
Like Kiram and Sork
Very
and
bad
Blue
offensive mon.
can be offensive. Greninja, obviously. Focus on Toxapex for good reason.
this game ended up being like something like 100 turns, isn't there? So,
Yeah.
This game even takes
105, I'm pretty sure.
I'm tempted to
Is
start
there
hitting the skip button.
Blast Wave becomes an issue.
What turns this?
47 onwards when it's Toxapex versus Blast Wave.
Yeah. Because it gets back into this routine of just the sub and the workup.
Uh-huh.
And again, it comes back around, like, if he gets one flinch here, you're forced out and forced to take damage on something else or to sack your Toxapex, which changes the game in its entirety.
Yeah.
In a fairly big
You
way.
need to continuously click Dark Pulse or cover.
I mean, turn 51, the double workup seemed a bit weird.
That was actually a misclick.
Yeah, he said it was a misclick after, I'm pretty sure.
I meant to click Dark Pulse,
Dark
but
Pulse?
I must have just,
Misclicks are only a John, dude.
I must have just fat thumbed.
If you're good, you don't misclick.
Yeah, well, I'm not good, so
After all that trash talk, this is the line you're going to come out with now? This doesn't work.
I'm not good. I'm amazing.
Oh, there we go.
I'm not in the league, so I
Give
can
him the old
first
bait
up
and
everybody
switch.
as much as I want.
So, long routine finishes up again.
Yeah, at turn 58, I've just skipped through a couple of turns.
First flinch happens. And
First flinch, but how many Dark Pulses have I clicked at this point?
flinch number 2.
Oh yeah, it flinches the
Wow,
The
Joq's so
blue?
lucky.
Oh yeah, hats. Oh my god. I didn't scald, I'm bad.
I do like how you disable the Mega Blastoise on turn 59.
Needed to make sure he couldn't spam Scald because, you know, Bulu being burned is never a good Bulu.
but you risked being
That's
burnt
like
anyway.
the third or fourth scald I've hit Bulu with and it's not burned. Because Bulu would be a lot easier to deal with if it was burned.
Bulu's a goat.
Don't you see
I mean,
the
but
Lombardi?
didn't Bulu become useless if you did get burnt on that turn?
If he did get the burn, Bulu didn't become useless, it just couldn't hit anything.
Yeah, useless, especially.
I should have subbed.
Not
on the
necessarily.
obvious
Leech
protect.
shenanigans are still useful in all honesty.
And then from here, you Celesteela came in and just clicked Leech Seed.
I think we can just put the speed on fast because this is.
Yeah, I'm
getting
just skipping through now to more notable turns because there is a lot of what happens in this interim period again, and I'm at turn
Pretty sure
69.
most notable turn.
But it just becomes a war of attrition at this stage. I mean, this
Basically.
is like the most exhilarating way to start off a REDCast, don't you think? Like, this is the best possible opening game we could have had.
You're welcome.
I love you guys.
But there's,
Turn 90 is when something finally happens.
I mean, I'll skip to that point, so just hang about.
Yeah, basically.
Right, we're
And the
skipping
count
to
flies.
A lot of this
And
is just a
King makes
war of attrition.
flyer. Well, not really prediction actually.
Just hang
He
on, I'm not there
makes
yet.
a
Just
play and
wait,
Joqq
just
got
wait.
powerful.
Right, okay, so this is the Bulu versus Garchomp turn, right? Okay. And
Yeah, it's not anything.
why does that Bulu, why does that Garchomp just absolutely do nothing?
That's what I'm wondering as well.
Yeah, I think I must have calced it wrong or something, because it was telling me it just died instantly.
And instead it just chewed and kills you.
Yeah.
And this was pretty big because Garchomp was actually a pretty sizable win con, given I don't think... King, did you have a Scar for this game?
Scarf. My best way of handling this was Greninja to revenge.
Which can't really switch in on the attacks. So like
You can
this
get
was
both. So I
probably
had
a
to
pretty
pretty
big
much sack.
turn.
Yeah, that was a big misplay.
Because again, losing Garchomp probably cost.
I actually saved my Silvally at turn 94. It was
I mean,
like a
what was
really
what
good
was the
goal for
roll
me.
to live that?
Well,
Um,
I done 15.5 the first time,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
only needed to do 15 the second.
yeah.
Yo, can we talk about turn 98 now?
Hang on.
I don't want to talk about
Yeah,
turn 98.
So we have to talk about turn 98 here because this is the big one. So as you can see on your screens, Redcast viewers,
Celesteela
the
won
Celesteela stays in on the Fusion Bolt and gets blown into the next dimension by a crit.
Yeet.
So, yeet! So Joqq,
Yeah.
talk us through why this was a huge impact on the game.
Because Celesteela, if I had got the seeds off, basically I would have recovered the entire 30% that Fusion Bolt would have done over 2 turns, which would have then left me in range, not even a Specs Greninja Dark Pulse. So Celesteela basically would have had to sack his Greninja just to get damage off, even though I have like 2 good Gren answers. So
Yeah.
he'd be forced to click and Hydro Pump, which means I can go Blastoise, keep my Celesteela alive, and then basically he has to switch his Bulu in, so I can obviously make a play around him
And double.
forcing to bring Bulu in and whatnot. And it also means that, like, if you look at his team, he can't kill Celesteela.
King, what
Like-
even was your item on the Kyurem? Because like,
Nothing on his team
really
killed
good.
it.
you really could have been like a C-move for the Celesteela. In all honesty.
Expert belt.
What
Oh.
time are you playing it on just now? I paused to...
I'm just now that you finished talking, I'm just going through. I'm at turn 101.
yeah, that was an annoying crit.
It definitely determined like the outcome of the game pretty heavily.
Tournament will win every fucking time.
Pex
Pretty
finally
much,
goes down at turn 102, but
It doesn't really matter that Toxapex went down. I was already sort of...
yeah, it served its purpose for the entire game.
Gren just kind of won the game at this point.
Turn 104,
Nice differential, dude.
turn 104, the switch back into Nihilego on the Blastoise, and you ended up doubling into the Surf.
Yeah, I had to make that play because if he went Bulu, I had to sack every time Bulu came in, which would have put me down on the sack race. We would both have to constantly trade sacks, but because I had one less sack, King would have won in that regard.
I mean, it's 4-3 at the minute after to you when Nihilego goes down. So are you definitely sure you had to make that play?
Well, Bulu, but the thing is, I only had 2 mons that killed Bulu. So,
That's true. That's true.
Like, even he only had to force me to sack one of them. That's how he was ahead, because Blastoise and Sylveon don't really count as beating it 1v1. So even though I had more mons, 2 of them had no way of beating Bulu 1v1.
No, that's fair points. And like I say, I'm just letting it play through to the end now. So Bulu comes in to 107 and is pretty much able to.
Bulu just wins.
Yeah, it's able to just clean up the game.
Imagine I had a mon that 4 times resisted Bulu at 60%.
Yeah. What a shame that got crit, hey?
So, to sum up this game, the rest
You're
of
not doing
Blue
bad.
they play me. Fun. I skilled.
They are only R versus Celesteela and Crystalia.
Oh
Mhm.
god.
Fun fact, after this game, I'm pretty sure Blue was kill leader for a good while.
It's the only time it'll ever be a kill leader, trust.
Until Matrix decided.
No, hang on, don't spoil. People have still got to watch that.
Yeah,
I
we'll get to that
get
game
to
right
it.
now.
Spoil.
yeah, so I'm just letting the game play out, but yeah, Bulu cleans the game up, and really it's that pivotal crit that costs, I think, for sure.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Still
for sure.
beat everything else. Like
One is finally done.
it would have
game.
forced 2 or 3 sacks just to kill.
Yeah,
Like he had to either sack the rest of his team to let Greninja revenge it, and then I beat Greninja obviously with Sylveon and Blastoise, or sack his Greninja to revenge it. But at that point, without Greninja, Darmanitan won the game. So
yeah, no, I completely agree. The crit was hella pivotal.
Yeah,
It's-
without
it's
that
ju- it's-
crit, King would not have won and come a step closer to that $40.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
that
feel
is
like I deserve,
unfortunate.
I feel like I deserve an 11th of that $40 if you win it. So
Potentially,
I'll
yeah.
take like £3.50.
No, you deserve 2% because of your nickname in the server.
All right. So are we all happy with that game?
Yeah, to
all
move
happy
on
with
to
our shared
Matrix
dialogue?
versus.
Sure, dude.
So our
That's
second game,
at least a faster and more exciting game.
yeah,
Yeah.
our second game of Blue Division saw the Vancouver Milotics go up against the Carolina Lycanrocs in a game that can only be stated as, you know, watching, don't believe what you're seeing, really. So we'll get that on screen for you guys right now. Is everybody loaded up and ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So
One
normal
thing-
speed.
Pretty much just. This is a bad game. Move on.
Well, no.
I don't
I
like
mean,
that Shaman is the
Last one was as well, and I really would have loved to move on because.
Yeah,
I wanted to.
that took too long, but this is at least it'll be quick. But all right, so normal speed. Are we ready? And 3,
Yeah.
2, 1, go. I started too early, but regardless, it doesn't matter because I'm going to call a pause. Pretty much on turn 2 here, so we can all pause there. So right, turn 2 really has me confused, and Matrix, I don't know quite what you were thinking at this point in the game, but why would you shell smash and then on the Mimikyu and then just put rocks up? This is a completely bizarre concept to me. Maybe you forgot that Mimikyu has access to priority.
But at this point in time, doesn't Mimikyu just guaranteed claim another kill?
I mean,
Because of
it claims this for sure, and if we move on, like it takes it down to its sash. It takes Manior down to its sash, and puts it into Shield's down range, of course. But like you've basically like not done anything to it. You've not broke its disguise. At least if you'd have broke the disguise turn 1, or sorry, on turn 2. You
No,
could
you
have
have to-
you could have revenged it with something else, but because of this, in theory, the Mimikyu should be claiming another.
yeah, it should claim an Arcanine probably.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's
moving
kind
on.
of
So I've
basic.
restarted. We're on to turn 3 now. The Weavile comes in here for some reason, and again,
Again,
I,
that's another misplay.
I-
Weevil is a great revenge killer, dude.
I don't know why, because this Mimikyu still has no fear of playing of clicking play rough.
Like, the only reason I can justifiably see a Weevil there is because it has the
Beat up.
beat up plus choice band, and he's confident it'll kill for some reason, but
But he clearly didn't.
probably not. Like he doesn't even.
But
know
it's
Mimikyu
neutral.
set.
It's neutral to Mimikyu, so I doubt it even KOs. Plus, he's
Choice
a mon
band
down,
would-
so beat up's weakened, isn't it?
Yeah, it would have been, but it still would have had
Yeah,
fire.
it is. But most of his mons do have a pretty solid chunk of attack, I think.
Yeah.
Then again, Latios isn't the strongest Mega O, so yeah.
So turn 4, we see the play rough miss on the Arcanine coming in.
Which I
And-
don't think, and the whole way it plays out matters that much.
No,
Yeah,
it
that's-
doesn't here, but turn 5 we see the reason why there is some sort of issue in this game.
Does Flare Blitz from an Arcanine not do 80% to Mimikyu anyway, so I don't think it would have mattered.
I don't know. I think he was maybe
So, I'm pretty
expecting
sure
to
this
switch.
Is a defensive Arcanine, like 100% defensive.
Would it still not do 80% with a Flare Blitz? Mimikyu's
Easily.
not exactly bulky.
Mimikyu's got no physical bulk.
Mm.
But like it's irrelevant because the key talking point here at turn 6 or at turn 5, as you'll have seen, when the Arcanine clicks Bulldoze, this Mimikyu's disguise doesn't break, it just takes the damage straight. So what a theoretical situation that would have been actually really bad and probably would have required moderator intervention was that if that if the Minior clicked Acrobatics on turn 1 and just blew this thing away,
oh yeah,
we'd have probably like had to have issued some sort of restart because
but from this point, because of Bulldoze and slowing it down,
it wouldn't have mattered. But like it's just a fun little point that that disguise just doesn't work on
Showdown added totem Pokemon for no reason at all.
I mean,
use totem Pokemon.
I don't know, they're part of the game.
Like, totem Pokemon really are zero.
They lock you into one ability of that Pokemon 100% and just make it slightly bigger.
Also, a lot less ag moves.
Yeah.
So, more predictability. It's so many drawbacks, just not worth it.
I also think a lot of people would be weak to a forfeit if they used a Totemon, because if you see a Totemon, you might expect it not to have a move, whereas other people don't check these things and think, oh, Mimikyu can just use this move, so Totem Mimikyu can move it.
I don't know, do they have separate checks on the showdown? Or like,
I don't know, I'm not sure if it just checks it as Mimikyu or if it checks it as Totem Mimikyu, but a lot of people don't even validate their team.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm on turn 8 now. I don't know where you guys are up to. I don't really have any notable plays, it's just I've let it run across. But the game sort of continues as normal, just some standard switches.
I love how he toxics the Shaman on turn 10.
Yeah. This again.
Zygarde as his switch-ins to Shaman seems like a bit of a strange play. Like,
looking a Shaman, you never want to do that unless it's the last one alive.
Especially when he's just showed aromatherapy as well, so even if he switches out, the toxic's not that big of a deal anyway, he's just going to aromatherapy.
Yeah, he could stay in and press aromatherapy and be perfectly fine. Yeah, it was a weird play. This game.
Worst play of the entire game.
At this point, it's kind of the question of what breaks Shaman on his team.
Nothing.
Well, that's what my issue was at the start of the game. You think like Zygarde is really weak to Shaman, Gyarados is really weak to Shaman, Thundurus is really weak to Shaman. Guard doesn't break it very well.
Piloswine's
Thundurus
too
can
slow.
deal with Shaman if
I
that's
don't know.
kind of bulky with Sludge Wave, to be fair.
I feel like his best way of breaking it this game was like a Z-Fly Gyarados, which it's not even Z. He is, or just Guard, and both kind of struggle after a point.
Especially because Guard's bulky this game, it's not like an offensive Guard.
Oh really? Wow.
Okay. Like what breaks Shaman, especially with Leech Seed. So
turn 14 is the next point of note.
What speed have you got it on? It seems like yours is going slower than mine.
Mine's on normal, but I'm pausing as well, so I don't know if you're continuing.
Rid of the Weavile here was actually really good.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of this Weavile being sacked.
Yeah, I don't
either,
think
because look
can
at his ice resist for a second.
It's non-existent. Weavile beats everything but the Gyarados, I think.
It even does nice chip to Gara.
Yeah, and
like if I set up Gara, like
what does it have?
Do, like 50% with an Icicle Crash on the DD, and then after Rocks, Ice Shard should probably pick it off.
I mean, actually,
keep in mind
this
is a Mega Gyarados, and
this was
low kick field.
Yeah, this was packing low kick as well. I've just noticed. So
Yeah,
this
so
Weavile actually had answers to everybody, every member of TB's team, and he just decides to sack it to the Zygarde instead of going out into Shaman, which is a pretty dedicated check, or Arcanine to get an Intimidate.
Or even sack Jolteon, because in all honesty, it's not incredible.
I'm moving again, by the way.
Even though had not much use, yeah.
I mean, it's still kind of alright, so Shaman was a fair
done exactly what Weavile done, just worse.
I'm moving again as well, I'm at turn 17 now.
Yeah.
Just progressing.
Like, at this point, I kind of thought doesn't Jolteon just win? Like...
until Volt Absorb, but yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, like if he Shadow Balls the card, it just wins.
And he clicks Shadow Ball.
Yeah.
It's had everything going for him right at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
which I didn't understand. I think spamming Shadow Ball was always a thing.
And I'm now waiting at the turn where just everything erupts into chaos.
Oh, turn 19.
So I'm at turn 19 now. Pause. So if you guys want to
The
catch up,
infamous
and,
turn
and
19.
we'll all go this together. So turn 19, as people have already seen on the screen, the Zygarde comes in the previous turn and catches a Toxic from the Jolteon, and Matrix makes the switch into the Shaman as TB clicks Outrage and scores a crit. Now this is huge because this means that Shaman is actually broken, whereas nothing else could have done that.
It wasn't 2-hit KO'd by this. I think it done 40 something max.
It done 40 on a roll.
So the crit is
not
huge.
Only a crit this turn, but next turn he got a high roll,
which was even more gutting.
Insanity.
And he also gets the 3-turn outrage, which means he gets to claim another kill.
And that means that Jolteon's picked off because this Zydog is Scarf.
Scarf for some reason.
Scarf E-speed with Toxic is just a
I
wild
love
set.
how after this play, the Toxic play makes even less sense.
Yeah, crazy. So
okay, and then turn 22, that's a great turn as well.
Turn 20, so turn 21, Arcanine comes in. Turn 22, my man breaks Confusion and scores the crit to undo the effect of the Intimidate and blows this Arcanine away, pretty much sealing the game.
And turn 23.
And then just turn 23, just to add the insult to the injury.
Just to rub it in.
Just to rub it in.
That sweet Moonblast.
He lives the Shadow Ball very comfortably and blows this Mega Latios into the next century with a crit.
TB.
This is the most hacks-filled game I think I've ever witnessed in all of my time in Red, and I've been here a long time.
It's not that it's got the most hacks, it's the fact that the hacks comes within the space of 5 turns and forces 3 deaths.
Well, it's the fact that it's so quick and matters every time.
He crits him
just
3 times.
Crit after Confusion drop crit. How does he do it? I want a Zygarde like that.
Not only did like the each crit matter, but
as did the getting the 3-turn outrage in the first place. The 3-turn outrage helped an incredible amount. The high roll outrage helped an incredible amount.
High rolls, 3 crits, and also just was insane.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah, like Matrix had everything he needed to win, and he kind of got bodied.
Now, I don't want to make it. I mean, I kind of disagree with this statement because of this Weavile sack. Now, had sort of this played out, but as normal, but Matrix had actually decided to keep his Weavile around. Once this Zygarde 10 was locked into Outrage, there's nothing to stop Weavile coming in and clicking Revenge with an Ice Shard.
Also, without Weavile, he does become incredibly weak to Mega Gyarados because Mega Gyarados' natural bulk means it's guaranteed to live a hit to where it can set up and basically just
clean the team.
So
I know the hacks played a huge part in the game.
Yeah, of course,
but there were some misplays on Matrix's end that that added to it.
I think after discussing this, we realized that the matchup was heavily in Matrix's side.
Yeah.
The 6 brought the matchup was insane.
Jolteon should have just won the game.
Shaman and Weavile only needed to come to win, pretty much.
Yeah.
No, I think those are fair
I
shots.
really don't agree with some of Matrix's plays that he made.
The first 2 plays
played way too recklessly with that Shaman, letting it be his only win con, kinda.
And he also basically wasted the Minior. Like, he got up
that was...
And like a suicide lead is obviously sometimes okay, but suicide leading in front of a Mimikyu just seems like a really bad play because, well, it kind of just claims lives.
I mean, the point. I mean, I think the suicide lead isn't as bad if it's played properly. So,
not in front of a Mimikyu.
I mean,
No.
no, you
It's
can still
right.
suicide lead on the Mimikyu. Like you can still put up rocks, but you don't shell smash as well in the
Yeah,
space
yeah, you
of
wanna
the
break
2
its disguise.
turns.
Sure. I also don't really agree with Matrix how we just. I mean TB. Sorry. I don't really agree with TB how he just wants to get that disguise gone like turn 1 or 2.
Yeah,
Mimikyu
he
never
played
got
really
optimal
recklessly with the
either.
disguise. Not that it mattered because it didn't have disguises anyway. But
Yeah, Mimikyu was
yeah,
never going to
okay.
win that early, so it was a bit odd setting it up turn 1.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
if
Like,
he's looking
saving
for
the-
big damage,
Saving
but
stab priority for Mega Latios seems like a good idea in my opinion. Like stab
Mhm.
super effective priority for a mon that really just nearly claims a kill every time it comes in.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't
Like-
know. I think overall this game was sort of like a mixture of some questionable plays on both ends that was dictated heavily by hacks. I think is the fair.
Yeah, it was certainly one of the worst games this week.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Like, if I was, like, if you were either TB or Matrix, what would you have done different?
Not sacked Weavile.
Been a bit safer with game and seeing Mimikyu click SD. Try and break the disguise rather than, click rocks at that turn.
Both players should have preserved their priority users easily.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
number one thing. Like priority against each team was really good. All right, maybe against Matrix less so because of the presence of like Arcanine and Shaman that can just naturally soak hits. But like when you have such a key sweeper, and it was a key sweeper for, they were key sweepers for both of them because they did break heavily.
Yeah.
It just feels like a huge mistake to let those go down as in the ways that they did.
Yeah, for sure. I felt like this game really should have been more about preserving the win cons and the priority, and having the kind of walls like TB with his Gardevoir and Matrix with his Shaman and Arcanine. Like that should have been the main game, and either TB's Mimikyu cleaning like late game, or Matrix cleaning late game with his Weavile. That's how I think it should have kind of went.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
But instead, it just
Yeah.
turned into sacking the most important mons, and then it turned into a weird game with lots of crits ending up mattering a lot.
No,
I
I
think it's
completely agree as a whole.
In the past.
So are we ready? I think that's pretty much all there is to say on that game.
Yeah, I'm sure. I agree.
That was a good 40 minutes on the first 2 games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We-
perhaps.
It's fine because the games get a lot shorter as we go on as
Yeah.
well. So hopefully it'll even out.
Next
Right.
up.
Okay. So next up we have the Carioca Crooks, coached by El Birabon, versus the Virginia Escavaliers, coached by Arctic Weavile. Putting the game
Admiral
up on
Trapdoor
the screen
on.
now.
This is a game I've not actually watched yet.
Cool.
It's the only one.
Yeah, it's
So
a little
both
bit
are
of a weird game
newcomers,
in
so
my
both had a lot to prove this game.
gonna see why.
Right, so I'm going to start it in 3, 2, 1, go. Normal speed. We've got the a good start for Birabin, really. In the Krook versus the Tapu Koko, and then he just loses all momentum by doubling into Marowak when he goes into Aloma Loma. Aloma
To be
Mamo.
fair, it was kind of a weird lead on both sides, because the Crook could have beaten the Koko, but the Koko could have also beaten the Brook.
Yeah. If it was Scarf Crook, you don't want to risk it, but like if that's Z Fairy Tapu Koko, you don't really want to risk it. And
Yeah, or if it was a Roselli Crook.
yeah. Trick Room Life Orb Slowking is quite a cool bring versus this team.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just unfortunate that it was like really neutered, and it seemed like it required some key threats to be broken before it could start putting in work. Like
Yeah, like
Latias
Latias,
seemed to
really
hardwall
like-
it.
The main
Yeah.
issue with it was it lacked Shadow Ball.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
about it.
Yeah, that partially, and I think he really should have gone on rocks up and done some breaking with his Crook and Tornadoes.
Yeah, that would have helped open up a lot more opportunities.
It's
for
another
it.
situation where they just spunked the win con in the first 5 turns instead of keeping it back.
Yeah, that's generally
Cooking
what you
can
want to do with
preserve
win
itself,
cons.
so it came back in.
I mean, mind blown here on turn 13, by the way, just absolutely sending this Krook to its grave.
Decimates the Crook.
I mean,
That's my
Cri-
favorite play of this game.
Blacephalon is a broken mon.
It's very strong.
it is incredibly powerful. From what
I
we've
do
seen.
like how Mind Blown is as powerful as Hat Smash, but Hat Smash is 0 overall. It's very unrelated, whatever.
Again, like, he tries to get momentum with this Slow King again, but Latias just comes in and walls it hardcore.
He just can't.
I think
I
think
think in the game, I really think that Arctic can pretty much hard swap on his entire team with his defense.
I think Audino was a very strange bring, especially like if you look at the 6, it loses to all 6 of the mons that Arctic brought.
Yeah, Barry really should have brought a different breaker of some kind.
Because even though Latias is weak to Audino, Audino's so weak that Latias can end up cam mining and getting to +6 on it.
Again, here, turn 21, here this is a misplay as well. So turn 20, the Jirachi is in versus the Aloma Mola, and it clicks Iron Head on turn 20 and takes the Rocky Helmet damage.
Yeah, now dead basically.
And then turn 21, he presses U-turn anyway, fully knowing that his Jirachi is going to take more chip, and there are rocks up, so getting a wish off is now going to become incredibly difficult. And he's basically, from that turn, has just turned his Jirachi into sack fodder for the rest of the game.
And he also then misplays after that with like sacking off his Slow King just to do 50% to the Latias.
Yeah, on the nasty plot turn here.
Yeah, like, and I don't think sacking your Slow King is worth 50% on a Latias.
Yeah,
when...
and after Slowking goes down, you just kind of know that Arctic is in such a favorable position here.
Well, it's like
That you can almost say he just wins the game.
Nidoqueen barely dies, Steelix barely dies. It's like Marowak becomes the only breaker.
And he preserved it for a hell of a long time as well. Like, he just hid it in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
Whereas if it got into the game early, it
kinda
could have done a
late
lot more.
sweeper, but it's not.
From this point, it was pretty much Arctic's game.
Yeah.
I really don't agree with
I mean,
how.
From in my opinion, like the way that Biraban prepped the team, it was like it was almost like Arctic's game from turn 1. And you know, I hate to say it about any player in this league, genuinely, but like this isn't like nobody in any division is a pushover here. Like in all seriousness, and you can't afford to be sleeping on prep for mons as basic as Latias that wall your win con in for that game.
I also don't think that Trick Room was the smartest bring, because he's got quite a fast team, but he also has mons like Steelix and Nidoqueen, which he doesn't deal with under Trick Room. If you look at his team, Steelix and Nidoqueen he doesn't deal with them under Trick Room.
Yeah.
So giving mons that you can't switch into Trick Room seems like a bit of a strange decision in my poor prep.
I don't think it's super bad. I think it's key for dealing mons like Blacephalon and Coco, but I definitely see the point. And the thing is with Steelix,
I feel like a Scarf Crook deals with both of them a lot better than Trick Room.
Yeah, potentially.
I do like the all-out pummeling for Steelix on turn 40.
Now,
I'm just getting to
I
that
had
now.
a big issue this game with how weak he was to Blacephalon.
Yeah, he didn't bring a switch into Blacephalon.
The main reason why he was so
I mean,
weak was
find me one
because
that isn't Tyranitar for a start.
Birabon overprepped for Holucha coming, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Which I don't particularly blame him for, because that
Holucha's 6-0 done. Like, even that team he brought,
it's a
he
threat.
still has no flying resist outside of Jirachi.
But
Jirachi was max defense, which I've had to calc versus that, and it actually takes quite a decent amount from it still.
Yeah.
So, like, you could tell his team was built to handle it because, you know, Audino had no other reason to come, really, other than to try and eat one hit and hit it back.
Yeah.
Felt like Audino could have been swapped out for a way to handle Blacephalon better.
Yeah,
Which is
I
more-
completely agree. I mean, yeah, I think I've said all I need to say to summarize the game. That you can't afford to ignore prep for like mons as basic as Latias when you're, and then sack your best answer in Crocodile way too early in the game for it to be effective.
Yeah, Crocodile should never have been a switch into Blacephalon because Specs Blacephalon probably 2-hit kills at the Shadow Ball anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just like an assault with Crook.
Yeah,
It
like
would be a nice
Blacephalon is
stat.
that wrong. Crook's not a switching in the slightest.
So I think the mistakes came from just too heavily focused prep around the Horlucha, which caused him to bring a team that was suboptimal for dealing with the rest of the draft that Arctic has, and then poor decision making. I think was the real sort of like straw that broke the camel's back, in that he couldn't effectively handle Latias after Kruk had gone down. I mean, not. I don't want to focus on the negatives of the game. The sets that Arctic did bring were really solid. He played the game, with very few mistakes, in my opinion.
Yeah, Arctic just played incredibly well in my opinion. But
I mean,
Barry
I
just
wouldn't say incredibly well, and that's not to take anything against from him.
okay.
But I think Biraban played and prepped subpar. And, if this game was equal, where both sides brought, like, better balanced teams, or, one side brought a better balanced team to handle the Escavaliers, this game becomes much more interesting. But
True.
Arctic...
I feel like Arctic didn't really need to make any plays to win.
No,
this
he
game
didn't. He didn't have to make any over-aggressive plays. He didn't have to make any predictions, which I thought was a key thing.
Yeah, the best kind of games you need to play are where you don't need to make any plays. So in that regard, I think Arctic did pretty alright.
Yeah, he made all the necessary plays and just didn't have to force anything, and because of that,
Yeah,
he won really
made no
comfortably.
over predictions or anything, which I do know he has done time to time. So I do think Arctic did play okay, but like if you prep like Barry, like no offense to him at all, like you said, but if you play some like versus someone who preps like that, who just makes so many mistakes, it's kind of...
It's hard to evaluate you to say, yeah, you played really well.
Yeah, I know what you want to say. It's just hard not to lose unless you kind of choke. If someone preps, under preps, rather, for a mall like Laddie, it's just kind of fortunate.
Okay.
Let's move to the next game because I think if not, we're kind of...
Yeah. So we've been going around in circles on this one.
Yeah.
All right.
I
So
feel like we've been doing that quite a bit.
moving on to another sort of very exciting game. We have the what's Emma's team again? Sorry, it's DC Castforms. Sorry, the DC Castforms coached by Lady Emma Sky versus... It's the Pittsburgh Rose and Thorn now, isn't it? Coached by Recon Jack. He changes his team every season, and it's so hard to keep up with.
Still to the Stolax or the Seaside 21.
He just likes to give designers money, I think.
He just loves paying
I think
people.
as well.
So I actually mocked for Recon Jack in this, and had a look and what the possibilities could have been. I think from that, the first game that we played, he struggled a lot with Milotic in prep from his original Manaphy set, but we made changes accordingly. I don't know if anybody here had an insight into what Team Emma was bringing.
Yeah, I did. I mocked Emma.
Fair enough.
And Emma's team, they somehow won the mock, I'm pretty sure. Pretty much, I just used Mama Swine and broke everything.
I think, I think that was the big threat.
Looking
so
at the map, Mama Swine is a bit of a threat.
Get this on screen now.
It comes in, it kills something.
That was my main thing. Like, I'm pretty sure what happened is I used Rwombi to just force the Milotic into coming out and just clicking Haze and Recover repeatedly.
Yeah.
and then Mama Swine just came in and destroyed.
Took something. All right, so let's get this game underway. So 3, 2, 1, away we go. Turn 1, the Lopunny versus the Ribombee. Now I made this exact same mistake in my original mock
Sweet
with
Veil, right?
Recon.
Shield Dust.
Shield Dust completely negates the effect of flinch, so the webs worked as
I lost Shield Dust.
and then turn 3 as well. Really good play to get rid of the Flame Orb with Trick.
Yeah, just first few games you can already see how Recon Jack is already in the lead.
Yeah, you really can, and it's really solid play from him as well. And these are scenarios that we actually went over in the prep.
Yeah, I feel like this is really how he needs to play like the entire game because of how comfortable he is with HO.
Yeah. So originally that
The
Manaphy that
first
just
3 or
came
4
in
times,
was
I just
the
think so.
Z Rain Dance variant, but because it couldn't handle Milotic properly, because it wasn't able to run an Energy Ball, we decided to switch that up, and I think it was for the better. Turn 10, again, he tricks the Flame Orb back onto...
That's a really good play.
Again, this is just really solid plays. And it sincerely looks like Emma's struggling in the matchup at this point, really. You know, Recon now has a +2. Oh, what's this thing? I've got it on my team and I can't remember what it's called. Lycanroc
You
Dusk.
have it.
Yeah, I just can't remember its name. He is able to get Lando in and defog the rocks on turn 14.
The Fire Fang was a strange play.
I think he was just looking for chip onto the Lando, to
yeah.
be honest, and
Because he didn't want to miss, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
you don't want to miss a Stone Edge, even though it probably might have netted him a KO. I don't know. And here you just have a war of sticky webs between Ribombee
Classic.
and...
But David will win this because of Stick Web's PP. So, no,
Yeah.
he's forced to switch.
So we move on to
Huh?
later turns.
I thought you were going to say, now we move on to the next game. I was like, my man?
I'm surprised that he... Have you got to turn 21 yet?
I'm past
Yes.
turn 21. Do you want me
Yeah.
to skip back?
I just thought it was a bit strange that he didn't choose to KO the Milotic when he could have.
Maybe he was anticipating a switch into Lando and didn't want
I
to
would have
give it.
anticipated a switch into Lando there, yeah.
I think that was like the play if because if Lando gets in versus the Infernape, the Infernape's physical, so can't touch Lando, and
Yeah, but
that's a free
He's seen
defog.
it's not scarfed, so wouldn't... Well, actually, no, he's not seen it's not scarfed, it's only clicked. No, he did see it's not scarfed, so wouldn't 2 close combats have killed a Lando at 29%?
Maybe.
It kills, but
he didn't want to risk it just in case because David doesn't calc.
Ah, that's fair enough. I just feel like close combat in there guaranteed netted him a kill.
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty sure David doesn't calc, so he saw Lando and was like 29%, it probably libs 1 or 2.
10, 28.
Second Mamo was a strange play.
Yeah, this seemed like a mistake.
This hurt me when I saw it because
Yeah.
it's everything else but a load of Ninetales.
Yeah, it just...
I mean,
I like
Flare
how
Blitz.
he's not
Following on, Flare Blitz can start to pick up KOs from that. Again,
Still warning.
Now,
turn
this
30.
play was, yeah.
Yeah, go on, take it.
This
Take
was a
it.
play. This was a good 50-50.
You guys still there? Slow as hell.
I think sacking. I think sacking the.
Manaphy was, I think he was predicting a fake out here. I would have too, but that's why Emma made the play of clicking return. It was a good 50-50 and it kind of decided the game from there.
Yeah, I'd say, but I don't quite understand why Recon
Drop.
was so set on keeping Ribombee around this late.
I don't know if the Ribombee had quiver as well. Because if it did, I would understand. Because I remember it in the mock, quiver did quite a bit of damage to everything.
Yeah, I think it did have quiver. I'm not sure though. But again, like, I don't know. It feels like, I mean, I'm just running the turns out here. so he's already Ribombi's already gone down to the Scarf Ninetales, and then Lop just sweeps the game there to finish off. But just generally, the problem seems to be that he makes too many mistakes in the late game.
Yeah,
Recon
he played that
here.
early game.
The early game was fantastic.
He
Like,
put himself in such a good position to win. All he
Yeah.
had to do was make sure, like, 1 or 2 mons were out of range of Lopunny fake out, and it was kind of.
Yeah, but I think his main was, he just didn't know what kind of mons he needed to preserve. Like,
Yeah, he didn't know who he was going to win the game with, and
and he
became
thought
too greedy.
he probably thought like webs are incredibly important, but at that point, David really should have realized that he was able to play so offensively that Emma couldn't defuck anyway with Lando.
yeah, without it becoming just a straight up sack.
So I think that David was really kind of doubting himself during this, during just the game, yeah. So I think that's kind of where he went to hell and lost the game.
He does say at the end of the game that he didn't think Tails was Scarf, and that's what threw him off. Which, you know, I can for sure to understand. But it cost him his Mamoswine, which was a big win con, and ended up eventually costing
Again,
him the
Mamoswine
game.
under webs, he should have maybe thought to himself that should be the win con because it probably takes the least from a Lopunny fake out. And obviously he didn't know that the Ninetales was Scarf at that point. And I don't think that Lopunny fake out was going to 4-hit KO a Mamoswine. So in my opinion, that would have been what I would have chosen as the win con.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even after Mamo went down, there was still win cons there.
He just
I
didn't
just think he misplayed the end of the game, and that's what determines that win.
Yeah, I also felt like mid-game he could have went out into his own Mamoswine a little bit more, because it just breaks everything.
Yeah, it claims a kill
And
every
it
time
puts
it's
on
in.
so much pressure, but
This is
he
one of the
didn't.
moments where Mamoswine actually killed everything for once.
Yeah.
Like, people say, oh yeah, it can kill everything, bring it, but it gets killed. But this was an actual moment where it could have done something.
It could have won him the game.
Yeah, I feel like webs in general help Mamoswine out so well.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, to summarize, the early game definitely went Recon Jack's way. The mid game still heavily to Recon Jack, but a couple of mistakes. But the end game just seemed like every
Again, it's not
bad situation and decision just happened for him.
It's not a situation as to where, like the last game, it's not like where Emma had to do anything outrageous to win the game. It was more just the mistakes of their opponent played into their hand, where they only had to do the easy plays to win the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that wraps up everything I've got to say about the game, unless anybody has any final points to move on. What'd you say, King? Sorry.
Game 4 is over.
And we're on
Yeah.
to the last game of Blue Division because of the.
Yeah, we'll get to that at the end. At the end of Blue Division. So.
Oh, this is the game that triggers me so much.
So here we have the what's Johnson's team? The UNC Wingles, coached by the Johnson 03 or Omega John, versus the Manchester Mareep, coached by Fitzblitz. Getting
This game
the game
triggers me.
up on screen now. Well, I'll tell you what, Joqq, call out the points where you get where you hit trigger point, and then we'll give us
I'm
your
pretty
thoughts
sure
there.
he means everywhere because
Almost
there's
every
a
turn
fact.
is a trigger point for me. But we will do it.
Say the fact now. Or
I mean,
later.
take the lead on this one by far. So I'll start the replay on my end in
So tell me
3.
when you're starting, and I'll.
All right, starting now. So we get the Necrozmarine versus the Volcanion turn 1. Just tell me if you need to pause, because the game will be rolling.
Well, I think turn 1 don't need, we don't need to pause, but we just like get to see Fitz being incredibly unlucky on a roll.
Yeah, team what turn 1 and 2 with the double steam eruption. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it does suck, but he also got the burn, so
But
kind of
again,
balances out.
I think straight away, like turn 1 is turn 3, sorry, is the start of where like my annoyance of this game comes in the fact that Johnson or whatever his name is it Omega John? He has no water resist apart from Whimsicott, which it's not a water resist. It's not a Volcanion resist anyway, and he sacks it knowing that like Zygarde's going to kill it. Like he sacks him on just on a 30% burn chance.
Yeah, potentially. Because
Or
if
makes
Zygarde
sense
got
to me.
burnt, that would have probably been pretty grim for the rest of the game in his case.
Yeah, but
I mean, I'm carrying on the replay from 10-5 now, so.
yeah, there's
I'm pretty sure
turn
Johnson
seven,
has
another
Tentacruel as well, so that's something that should have possibly came.
Turn 7 is another massive trigger point for me. It's like it's just seen Hidden Power Fire from this Cofagrigus, so instead of switching to save his fortress, he sacks it for like 20% chip.
Yeah, which is
Never
notable
worked.
because now
Pretty sure
rocks
it's
are up
happened.
to stay.
Like, even Spiked would have been a pretty good play. Or-
Yeah, I just don't think sacking your fortress for 20% on a Cofagrigus is like a great play.
Especially T-Spikes would have been ideal here, but I don't think this has it, otherwise
Yeah.
he probably would have clicked it.
But even
But
like
the-
spin was something that he should have preserved.
Yeah,
You know, but
again,
Yeah,
another
in general,
situation,
yeah.
just he sacks his Venusaur when it like it's his only answer to Whimsicott at this point. It like arguably his only mon that's going to live a hit from Zygarde and do a chunk. It's the only thing that really breaks through Cofagrigus well, and he sacks it off when he's got to switch into Blaziken in the Salamence.
I mean, this Cofagrigus soaks up the hit from this Kang pretty nicely.
Yeah,
He's
again,
able
I
to
don't
heal.
know why he thought that attacking staying in that situation. It's just a lot of the not switching when he's got ample switching seems.
Turn
I feel like that
turns.
was your main trigger points, because I'm pretty sure there was only 2 switches altogether this game for
Only
Fitz.
switches 2 or 3 times.
The entire
Again,
game.
like-
Crazy.
But I think the sub on turn 17 from Omega John's a really good play on the fly. To either waste the Z move or if he just wants to regular fly.
I mean, I think that Fly is actually a good play on Fitz's part. It's just the problem of it's the wrong Whimsicott set to use Fly on. Because if this was like just a standard 3 attack stun spore or 2 attack support,
Or even Encore at that situation, he just
Yeah.
Encores him into Dragon Dance and then he loses loses him on to Moonblast.
yeah. So I think that Fly is okay if he was planning to dodge the stun spore, but really, given the set matchup, there's nothing that this Salamence could have done.
Yeah.
And it
I
ends
think
up
Cofagrigus
landing
has
on
put in
a.
a lot of good work. I'm quite surprised that Kang didn't have Crunch for it. I think that was a bit poor prep. Obviously, everybody knows Cofagrigus is going to be the
Rocky Helmet.
Kang can switch in, so you would want to bring a move that hits
Yeah.
it super effectively.
Turn 17 as well, just to talk about what's going on in the chat. You asked me not to kill you for this, but since you called yourself out and made yourself look like a bit of a tool, Johnson. Johnson didn't seem to realize the fact that he's actually slower normally than the Salamence.
Yeah,
and makes a big explanation for it. So I'm not going to kill you in Redcast, but I'm going to point out that you were being a bit of a tool. So moving on. Sorry, just into turn 18 now.
if
Just
I knew
wanted
him
to-
well, I'd kill him. But,
You
I
don't-
don't know him well enough for that.
I mean, this is the Whimsicott show from this point on, and
Yeah, well,
it
it still
is-
did incredibly well that game.
it puts in a lot of supportive work against HO teams, and that's pretty much what Fitz brought.
Yeah, Fitz brought a HO team, but he never made the switch. The difference between the last game we watched and this game is you look like Jack made switches that got momentum and whatnot in the early game, where Fitz kind of just sacked him on if it wasn't getting a kill that turn.
Yeah, I fully agree. And Pythagoras again was just able to sort of take every hit at this point.
Like Mega Kang, you draft Mega Kang because it's supposed to be a sort of near win con every week, and it's doing 25% to Pythagoras. It doesn't 4-hit KO after leftovers.
Yeah, completely agree.
It should have had the crunch.
So yeah, and then Zygarde's just able to nip the game out with Zeden having to leave. He's muted himself and he's typing.
Oh. His mum's probably coming or something.
Yeah. So anyway, the Zygarde's just able to clean the game out with a E-Speed. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Alright, so Zeden will be leaving the cast, so it'll just be us three for the remainder, so that's fine.
Well, minus this next battle.
Oh yeah, oops, accidentally revealed. So yeah, we'll move straight on because there's not much to say post game of that. I think you summed it up pretty perfectly there, Joqq.
Todd versus Rally has.
Yeah.
Not...
So a quick note on Todd versus Rally. The game, we're not sure if it's going to happen. A takeover has now been assigned for Todd, which is AbeTech. Who will be coming in and taking over as of week 2. Whether he plays the match is down to whether Austin wants to keep the standing 3-0 decision or he wants to play the game. And it's completely up to him in any regard. Nobody's going to force him to take back a decision that was already made. So yeah, that is why that game has not happened.
Alright.
And that leads us on to the elite players.
Yep.
Elite.
And we start off with Lonely versus Pup.
Yeah, we start off with the Toronto Bidoof taking on the Lowell Spinder. And for this match, we have special guest and, well, one of last week's co-host, the one Lonely Cow, here to talk about his game. How are you this evening?
Oh, I am stupendous, and actually it's the Lowell Spinder, not the Lowell Spinder.
Sorry,
I just want to say that.
The Lowell. Sorry, that doesn't feel right. You're the Lowell Spinder from now on.
Good old US of A speaking.
So right, okay, loading up the game for the viewers now.
Oh yeah, this is a really good game. It really shows how elite the yellow division is.
It shows how there are certain people that shouldn't be where they are. For sure. Right, okay, so starting this game. 3, 2, 1, normal speed.
Right.
Nile the Crocodile versus Scissor, turn 1. And
So, I set up
stop.
Rocks. We should stop here. So I set up rocks. I knew that would kill. I wanted rocks for this game because it was good chip for everything that I needed to sweep later on, and so I knew I could live. I had some bulk, so that's why I took a lot of damage turn 1.
Yeah, and here's my response to that. Number 1, you knew U-turn was coming, yet you still let your Krook take 50% when it's pretty much one of your only decent ways of handling like AV muck variants. Number 2, I'm counting like 3 possible defog users on that team, all of which come in on turn 2 and just remove the rocks. So you set up turn 1 rocks for 1 turn of chip. Let's put this out here. And turn 2,
Turn
look
2 is
what
amazing.
comes in. It's one of those defog mons that then uses Grass Knot and KOs the Krook.
Alright. So I was doing calcs and I saw. Alright, I was thinking. Alright, he's probably gonna U-turn, and I was doing calcs and I saw that I could live a U-turn. So I was like, okay, I'll just go for a knock here. When I should have just went into Electros. That was the perfect middle ground play right there. But no, I decided to sack off my Crocodile, which is definitely the best play I could have made.
Did you not calc a Hurricane? Surely a Hurricane kills from that range, because you're not AV.
Because I'm next level and I predict the U-turn.
Oh yeah, you're so next level.
So let's get this straight.
I'm
So
in yellow. What do you expect?
So the first 2 turns have culminated into the fact that Lonely has set up rocks on turn 1 in exchange for 50% damage on his crocodile, and then sacked it off to the tornadoes that killed you with any special hit. Pretty much.
Yep,
yeah.
Yellow division, everybody.
This is the elite.
And then it pivots out into Florges. And your answer to the...
This is my favourite turn of the entire battle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he goes...
Really good turn by
your crook for turn 1 rocks just so you could do 6% of the U-turn on Florges.
Alright, my play there was probably...
leftovers for a turn.
So let's just talk about this, because what was your Swallow set?
Okay, so what was going through my mind? I don't even remember what was going through my mind.
But just answer the question. What was the Swallow set? What was the Swallow set?
So, the Swallow set was Silk Scarf with Boom Burst, Heat Wave, U-turn, Quick Attack, I believe. And so my idea was, alright, he wouldn't want to... So if I clicked Boom Burst twice, I killed the Florges, which I should have done. That was the best play I could have done. I don't know why I clicked U-turn. And so I was like, maybe he doesn't want to sack his Florges and I can get initiative. But that's not what happened. So that just puts me on the real downside of this game. So yeah, that's what was going through my mind, I believe.
So in the opening 4 turns, you set up rocks in exchange for 50%, then sack off the Krook anyway.
Yep.
Get some sort of small amount of initiative out of an Electros, and then just let rocks go down and you can't reset them on turn 4. What an opening to a game! I have never.
What a great opening!
I summed it up in turn 5 with the response: productive turn. Productive turn. I'm going to continue on now, going into turn 6. As you paralyze.
I just lose this game. I had no way of winning after rocks went off the field.
And then, so let's just talk about the continual fuck up that is this game. You then decide to go into Klefki and set up a spike versus that mon that has just defogged away your rocks.
Yeah, of course.
As it heals. And then you paralyze that same mon, which is also a renowned cleric in the format. I mean, it's just wild.
So it doesn't have Wish Protect, which makes you think it's probably got Heal Bell, but I'm just going to T-Wave it in case.
Yeah, you know.
I'm just moving on with the game now into turn 9 for the viewers. They've probably seen enough of this silly play. But anyway, the Magnet Rise was a pretty good play. On turn 10.
The Fusion Bolt was a better play, predicting it.
Yeah, I mean, just not having Earth Power was generally better.
Yeah,
but you did get the Cure and Paralyze, which was okay at this point in the game.
And then turn 12 is
another fantastic card.
This is another bad thing, because I was calcing versus 252 Curum with my Silk Scarf, and I was seeing that I had a guaranteed kill. What I wasn't looking at was that I accidentally had that Naive Nature, which is a special defense lowering nature, which means I actually couldn't kill the Curum, which only had 44 HP. So that was I wouldn't have done that if I knew that was a thing.
So not you just didn't bother to bring like a properly special attacking Swallow.
No, the reason I brought this set was because in case you wanted to go Scizor after a Boom Burst, I could toss off a Heat Wave and kill it.
Right. Why did you CC a Florges?
Oh, hang on, I'm only at turn 13.
I was
Let me catch up.
Sword Stance, Taunt, CC, Mach Punch.
So mono fighting versus the team that has a Tornadus and a Florges.
That was a set provided
and a Scissor.
by Jay. I had a different set. It wouldn't have made a difference in the game. I still would have taken a fat L. But
get your wheelchair remotes out.
And also that crit, that mattered. Because I would have lived.
Oh yeah, it mattered for one whole differential point.
Yeah, and then I could have Mach Punched whatever came in.
You need as much as you can get.
Yeah, I need as much as I can.
I mean,
get,
he
right?
still gets the differential point anyway because then the Electros comes in and crits with the Thunderbolt
Yeah.
regardless. But is this muck is actually AV, isn't it? From the damage that Thunderbolt did from Electros, is it AV?
I don't.
Or have you just got like a 0 invest Electros?
I can check what my set was. I think I was modest.
Best.
It signifies AV, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that
don't-
was max attack modest, so that was AV.
yeah.
And then he gets the poison touch, poison jab burn, but that's expected. Or poison.
I mean, like, I have no words for this game. You sacked your way to beat
Yeah,
AV
I just
Muck.
played terribly. And
Turn
like, on
2.
turn 5, I realized I just lost. So
Anybody
Poor
anybody else want to?
no. But I'm gonna win this week. That's a guarantee.
Is that a guarantee?
I
It's a
feel like this
if
is
I
an
lo-
ungame
If I lose this
after
week,
that.
yo, I don't know. We'll do something.
Great. Well,
We'll do something on the next cast if I lose next week.
Okay.
okay. So that hits
We'll
the end
decide
of
later.
that hits at the end of that game. Any
Alright.
thoughts from either of you guys? Joqq
Um,
and King.
Trash.
Wow. Yeah. It's such a horrible game for you, Lonely, especially after all the shit you talked. But I called it. You were taking a fat L, and you did take a fat L. So
Because keep in mind, Perp was bullied last season by Mike, like
He
horrible.
was.
Mike's
I
just.
think I'm gonna get the blunt end of that, the bullying from Mike this season, personally.
Congratulate Perp on making more than 2 mistakes, or making more than 2, positives compared to last season.
yeah.
And just be
for
depressed.
sure. All right. So I think that closes out your game, Lonely.
Yeah.
So
I'll see you guys later.
yeah, thank you for coming on as a guest and talking about your demolishment, and we'll see you
thank you.
whenever you're next on the cast.
Probably
Yeah.
see you when I don't know when.
Okay, and there he
Oh,
goes.
nice guy.
Ah, fantastic. Always the one to take an L in good heart. Okay, so we're moving on to our next game, which saw Nathan 22's CLE Legends take on JH Tech 03's LA Lopunnies. So, shall we just jump straight into this one as well? Game will be going up on screen. And starting in 3, 2, 1. Oh, Joqq, your mic's echoing just a little bit, but
Oh, let me sort it.
it's okay. So, turn 1, Stack Attacker lead versus the... sorry, Stack Attacker comes in versus the Sneasel.
Comfortably.
And now we're at turn 4, where this Smeagol just starts putting in stupid amounts of work.
Smeagol just does what Smeagol does, Extreme speed though.
Yeah, hella tech. I mean, I'm not that far ahead yet, but we're going to see it on this turn, yeah. Turn
Here's
8.
where it becomes a situation.
Um,
Turn 10.
hang on.
I think we
just,
should all put a pause on turn 10.
yeah,
Sub. Yep.
the subplay here, and his switch to this is Megalatios for the intent of getting webs down, I think.
Okay. What happens now? Your
Um,
play here.
Kill it. Kill it with fire.
Your play here isn't to defog, it's to kill the sub, right? I'm pretty sure that's the play all the time.
I mean,
Play is
the,
also not to set up Tailwind, it's to break the sub.
yeah, I agree. I agree with both of these aforementioned points.
Don't sack your stack attacker for just reasons.
I mean, I spoke to Nathan about the... Sorry, this will be coming up because I'm a bit behind you guys because I paused. But I'm at turn 14 now, which is the turn where Stack Attacker goes down to the +2 Shadow Ball. I spoke to Nathan after the game about this, and he said that he wasn't calcing +2. He had only calced +1. Stack Attacker definitely did live the +2. It lived the +1 Shadow Ball, sorry, but couldn't live the +2. And because of that, the game just went from bad to worse in in the grand scheme of things. So Stack Attacker goes down, and I'm continuing from turn 14 now.
There we go.
He eventually does break the sub with the Earthquake, 3 turns too late, and unfortunately ends up having to sack Lucario as well. Weavile comes in and forces Blacephalon out. And I mean, had Nathan not... Oh, sorry, had Jaime stayed in, didn't Blacephalon just pick up another KO?
Tailwind's still up.
Oh, sorry, I
Yes.
wasn't noticing Tailwind. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So yeah, that's the correct
Icicle
play.
crash there. So
Which was the correct play, but unfortunately, it's an unfortunate foregone conclusion at this point that
the
This-
game's done. Pretty
the
much.
the game's well and truly decided by this point.
Beyond
The
that.
Necrozma is able to come in and heal up, but gets toxicked by the Aromatisse at turn 21.
That toxic is the last thing you needed at that.
No, yeah, the toxic sealed the game.
Shadow Ball just ended it off.
Yeah, and Ferrothorn again able to just come in and eat hits for days from either of these. Sets up the Leech Seed, tanks the knockoff, and does chip to the Weavile as necessary, and blows it away with a Gyro Ball. And the Necrozma is able to pick up a kill with Heat Wave, so it's saved a little bit of differential for him.
I
But
feel like differential was the best thing to try and save here. That's
yeah, the
about it.
Blacephalon comes back in and picks up the KO with Shadow Ball. What is there to say? Like, it's
That
what
Blacephalon is a lot scarier than people give it credit for.
yeah, it is a lot scarier, but you also have to play around it properly, and that's just
Yeah.
something that Nathan
I feel
didn't
like it was-
do.
It was Blacephalon being scary and not being able to play around it well.
Yeah.
Biggest mistake going out to Stack Attacker. Tailwind was up,
Yeah.
I feel.
Um,
Like, Lucario should have went out to there, considering. And then you could have gone Weavile and played from there.
yeah, I agree. I don't know. I don't know what to say about the game because there was
Say
there's
about this
nothing
game, it's
there's
pretty-
nothing to comment on apart from the fact that Blacephalon crushed. Like, there's nothing much else noteworthy. The end game, Jaime just did what he needed to do to close out the game with the best possible differential. Nathan made a half decent save to make it a 4-0 instead of a 5-0. But just the early game pretty much cost Nathan the entire game, allowing Smeagol to do as much work as it did in keeping webs up, followed by Blacephalon just setting up continuously. So yeah, not a great deal more to say on that one.
Ah. So, like,
Anything
we
from
can just
either of you
move
guys? Are we ready to move on?
Move on from this.
Okay, so in this one, this will be a fun one for me to talk about.
For you.
So in this one, we have the Detroit Entes, coached by myself, taking on the Kansas City Cubones, coached by Alex. This is always a pretty big game and probably Yellow's biggest game of the week because it's two of the more established players. Not to toot my own horn, but two players that consistently make playoffs, and these games turn out important for either one. So I can barely remember the details of this game myself.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah, I know from playing it, it wasn't the most entertaining of games, but anyway, let's get through this as best we can.
Yeah.
Right, so starting in 3, 2, 1. So I'm just going to lead off with Rotom Mo. and he's going to get rocks, so I just want to trade rocks with him because his team is a lot more susceptible to the rocks damage than mine is. Or I'd estimated that for reasons that I'll talk through later in the game. So instead of defogging on the Rotom Mow, which I had,
wanted to keep.
I just wanted to trade rocks with him because I knew his team was a lot weaker.
Is that a bulky Greninja?
That Greninja is Assault Vest for the sole purpose of checking Salazzle. Because I didn't have a very good effective switch outside of Suicune really, and I needed something that pressured Salazzle out to help my Wincon, and the best way to do that was to bring just like a bulky AV Greninja.
Salazzle was a threat that you can't under prep for as well.
No, and I fully knew that. It was a big factor in prep. Turn 5, I didn't expect Virizion to come in. I thought he was going to go to Rotom Wash, hence why I Dark Pulsed and gave it a free attack boost. Lucky for me, he's a special variant, so I don't exactly need to sack my Lando.
Yeah.
And
Variant was very, very lucky.
Yeah, I think it just like
it saved a good chunk of the game. Him being
Had
a
it
special
been
set.
physical, that would have been pretty risky.
I mean, although there are downsides to a physical set as well, which I'll talk about. As well, on my end, Wish Jirachi was a pretty important supportive element to my team. As you can see, turn 11, he just unfortunately misses Focus Blast, and I'm able to Tox it with Rotom Mow, which, again, another big noteworthy point.
Yeah, that Focus Blast miss was a bit painful.
Yeah, because it was just free.
And how much would it have done to your? Were you a bulky Rotom or?
Yeah, well, I was max HP, max Fizz Def, so it would have done a notable amount, but I don't know. I don't think it'd have been a 2-hit KO, but I never ran the calcs. Here he switches, turn 14, he switches into the Registeel, which was probably a mistake on his part.
Especially with the taunt, he should have wanted to...
He should have stayed in and pressured me a lot more, because...
Yeah, you still get your wish off, which isn't a big deal.
The wish... because when he went into Registeel, my play was just right, okay, I only have one turn of taunt to burn, I'm just going to go for the flinch chance. And I'm able to just keep my Jirachi healthy, which is, you know, an important factor.
Yeah, this game was very important, it seemed, and actually kind of won at a certain degree at just keeping your team healthy.
Yeah, like I say, Jirachi became quite a vital member of the team, and turn 21, he actually makes the option to defog his rocks because he knew that... I think he knew that they were doing a lot more to his team than they were going to be doing to mine because of the way that I could passively heal the team.
Especially because at this point, if he kills Greninja, Salazzle becomes an outrageous win con, so
yeah,
really letting that take 25% that it doesn't need to take.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you let Greninja die, and like if he's... Obviously, I don't know what set he is, but like... When you're facing something like a Suicune or whatever, the set I always like to bring is like a sub-nasty plot disable set.
Yeah, it's very solid.
Sub on the Scald, disable it, and then you can just set up to the high heavens and...
win from that point. No, I fully agree. Which is why I was so focused on keeping Greninja healthy is for it as well. As you can see, like any opportunity I had to get Greninja back to full health with wishes from Jirachi, I took it. So what turn are you guys up to now?
31. I've just watched your...
31, yeah.
Right. Skip back because probably the most important turn happens at turn 29. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind because I've paused a couple of times without saying. My bad. So turn 29, when the Virizian's in versus the Greninja, I'm just going to make my standard safe play every time and go into Jirachi. And the crit that he lands with Focus Blast is incredibly painful to my chances of winning the game, because it basically...
Your Jirachi there.
Yeah, anything can kill this Jirachi now. because it's in range of Seismic Toss from Registeel. Mimikyu can take it out, the Rotom Wash can take it out, Kang can take it out, Salazzle, etc. So this is really unfortunate because I need to keep this. It's a linchpin essentially that keeps the rest of the team healthy for the win con.
Your Lando and now your Rotom are basically dead, and there's no way of getting them back up.
Yeah, so unfortunately I had to bank on him missing the Focus Blast, which unfortunately he doesn't do. I just go for revenge. So I'll continue now. I'm on turn 32 now. And again, the game just goes back to Alex doing what he needs to do. The note as well that I played really horribly around Rotom Wash as well, as it's able to really weaken, it's able to chip Landorus a bit with Pain Split, and then it does it again to Rotom Mow. When in reality I probably should have just exploded with Landorus right there and took it out of the game. A bit of a misplay on my end, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because at that point...
But then again, also, like, in your defense, like, if you'd blown up the Landorus, how were you killing Registeel?
No, that's very true, but I mean, I'll tell you the potential plan sort of at the end of the game, because there was a way for sure. I just didn't sort of utilize it. Mimikyu comes in at turn 39 and starts presenting big problems to the team because I misplay a lot with this around turn 40, and after I try to bait out his Z move because I'm confident that it is Z Mimikyu, that it's not carrying a Life Orb, which is the only other real set.
Suicune was a strange.
So I'll tell you the story behind Surf Suicune now. So I mocked with David for this matchup, and one of the big issues that he brought was Power Up Punch Facade Kangaskhan, which broke the team in half completely once it had been statused. So I was incredibly conscious of accidentally burning it. Because I don't have a ghost type, so it's a safe-ish bring in my opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit too obscure to warrant it, but I think it just got into my head a bit more than it should have.
I feel like Facade wasn't really. Return was mainly the thing I would have worried about.
Return I wasn't particularly worried about because I had Unaware Clef, which can't break with Return, but it can with Facade. So any other Power Up Punch variant I was fine with, because I could have just Cosmic Powered on that with the Clef, and yeah, that's the.
Yeah, I can see where the issues arise.
But Facade Kang, once it gets burnt or toxic, that's when it starts busting holes. Regardless, he brought Double Edge Kang anyway, so. Yeah, the power it didn't really end up mattering, unfortunately.
Kang is power.
It's powerful, regardless of what Zeden says about it being a bad mon, and it's very hard to prep for, because I was under pressure from that Facade set that Recon brought against me. I was then under pressure from the set that Alex did bring, which broke the Clef anyway before any boosts. But yeah, the Registeel would have lost to Clef anyway, because I don't think it was a toxic variant. I think it was revealed as a T-Wave variant, maybe. Did he reveal T-Wave?
Don't think he revealed any status move.
Yeah. But depending on what he was, I don't think he was toxic. But if he was, then I probably lost, regardless. But if he wasn't toxic, then Clef broke through eventually after enough boosts from Cosmic Power and Calm Mind, and just broke through with stored power regardless, and then broke the rest of his team. The plan was centered around the Clefable. I just couldn't make it work in time because he played the defensive game very well and preserved Salazzle till really late game after Jirachi had gone down and wasn't able to keep the rest of the team healthy. So yeah, just in general, he kept that sorted really well, and I can't fault his defensive game. It's just a shame that the crit on Jirachi happened, because I feel that having a wish go up every time Rotom Wash was in, and every time Registeel was in, probably put the game into my favour.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's an unfortunate thing, but I won't say that I won dead set, because I for sure didn't against a player like Alex. But it was definitely an unfortunate loss to lose such an important one.
That was definitely. It could have. I don't know how the game would have played out with Jirachi still alive. I feel like he would have had a higher chance of doing so much.
Yeah, but like I say, I take nothing away from Alex. He's one of the toughest opponents to face in the league. Full stop.
And your week 1 luck continues.
Yeah, and I call it every time. Like, week 1 is just not my week. I'm cursed to lose every week 1 match.
At least you didn't get 6-0'd.
No, at least it wasn't a 6-0. It was a much better of a game than previous seasons. But yeah, it's just the combination of my luck crossed with some unfortunate crit. One unfortunate crit, really. One note is that I overprepped for Mamoswine, which didn't come. Jirachi was Shokaberry, and Rotom was Yachi, both of which just never had any use in the game. I feel like with other items.
When leftovers would have been huge.
Yeah, especially on Jirachi. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I've got nothing more to say on that game unless you guys have. It just happens. It is what it is, and I'm not upset or mad about it.
Yeah, it was a good game from both anyway, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Really solid game. Alright, we ready to move on?
Yep.
We have the PEC Buzzwole, coached by Zappy, taking on the Royal Thai Greninjas, coached by Zaffa. So we'll just hop straight into this in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, feel free to jump in with any comments you want to make on this game. It didn't feel like sort of too. It didn't feel like sort of like too much of a notable game.
I don't think
really.
It's as much of an exciting game. It's just they both just make the play they have to make every turn, really.
Yeah, I mean, good prediction. Catching the Togekiss on with the Ice Beam on turn 4.
Yeah.
And in return, you know, it was a half decent prediction from Zaffa to click Fire Blast on the Celesteela, but you know, Zappy knew that his play was Dragalge regardless.
I think Dragalge's was like if you look at Zaffy's team, I think it was a really good brain.
Yeah, it was a big threat, especially the T-Spikes variant, as it's already.
Yeah,
you know...
I think it could be like even though Dragalge's not exactly a mon, you look at being a win con. The Toxic Spikes plus not really having a good switch into it.
Yeah.
Made it to the stage where it was such a massive threat for Zappy.
The main switching was Heatran, which could have been beaten. I'm pretty sure.
It gets Earth Power, doesn't it?
I've just paused at turn 9, by the way, because of the Flash Cannon. Prediction that Zappy made was really solid and caught the Togekiss again. Zappy made several predictions in this game to catch the Togekiss specifically that ended up being quite big, I think.
Yeah, Togekiss
because
never really got the chance to do anything.
It was just taking too much pressure. I think that was a big factor in how Zappy was able to sort of dominate the play around. It
also let him keep his Toxic Spikes up because Togekiss was clearly coming in to try and get rid of them.
Yeah, it just wasn't able to.
Turn 12 is another really good play from Zappy.
Yeah, the hidden power ground onto the Heatran.
Yeah.
Like what can you fault about these plays? Like, I mean. It pays testament to the fact that Zappy is the league champion. That's well and truly it. And you know, it's not like Zaffa is a bad player at all. You know, it's not like you're going up against Lonely here.
I think the Culverberry at turn. Are you at turn 17?
Yeah. I'm at turn 17.
I think letting the Culverberry pop for just a Toxic on Hydreigon was
questionable.
possibly a relatively poor play.
I probably wouldn't have made it.
I think
If
it
it
was
was me.
Roost Hydreigon, wasn't it?
I just think it's
Yes.
quite well known that Zappy is a massive advocate of like bulky, like
Hydreigon.
taunt Hydreigon sort of, to where Toxic's going to be like not the most helpful move.
Yeah, for sure. Turn
Yeah,
21,
you
we
could
start.
tell that it was a bulky dragon when Dragalge was there being the more offensive variant this game.
Turn 22
like-
is as well is where Zappy can start really letting fly here.
Celesteela just showing what Celesteela is.
Can do best. I mean, he does get unfortunate 2 turns later with the air
Showing
slash.
why Zed Striker is a bad Pokemon. Can't
Well, I mean,
kill
it
the
dodged an air
Celesteela.
slash and killed it, so you can't fault it too heavily.
It stopped them getting swept by the Celesteela.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seemed like a bit of an unnecessary play, but Zappy did say that he was.
Blade came in and fixed Shadow Sneak. Anyway.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I just don't know what Air Slash was to play for. Was it to catch the Tangrowth, maybe?
I think it was to
just so
catch
that
the
it-
Slow King.
Slow King or Tangrowth, either or.
Because it,
Again, turn 29, we're just looking at Dragalge putting on so much pressure.
turn 28, 29 just forces
I
a
feel like
switch, picks up a
Dragalge's
KO.
very underrated Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I think it's fantastic.
That's a strong ability.
Especially
Adaptability with
Especially
specs.
coupled with the typing that Dragalge has in Dragon Poison.
Yeah.
Because it neuters
It's more
fairy a lot of
effective.
fairies instantly.
It's only really checked by steel types.
Which Hidden Power Ground, as shown before, can handle that pretty easily.
Well, hidden power ground is niche to Heatran, or more
Focus
specifically,
Blast for most steel types, though.
yeah, it does get pretty much the coverage it needs. So really, it's only susceptible to revenge killing, really.
because
you
of
look
its
at it.
speed.
But I think Zappy's built a really good team around the Dragalge with like switch-ins to pretty much every mon.
Yeah,
letting
for
Dragalge-
this game as well, like Dragalge played such an important role and he
He built a
supported
team
it
that really let
excellently.
Dragalge flourish. Like, it was possible to come in and put off these big hits, but he also had switch-ins to all the revenge kills.
Yeah, absolutely, I absolutely agree with that. I'm at turn
Very good
38
game.
now. I'll just skip through to see if there's anything more notable. The crit on Doublade at turn 40, don't think it had that much of an impact.
Well, in the chat they said if it was modest, it didn't matter, and Zappy said he was modest.
Oh,
so
right, okay, that's fine then, doesn't matter. And here, Mega Gallade, I think.
potentially, I think, possibly, could you say that the Mega Gallade set that Zappy brought was arguably poor prep because it's a Mega Gallade that's walled by Slowking and the Blade?
Potentially, I don't know what his other move was though. I mean, if it doesn't have a move to hit Doublade, yeah, I'd
Well,
call
it
it.
has Zen Headbutt, but Zen Headbutt is probably doing good, what, 10% to the
Yeah,
Blade?
then I'd argue it's not the greatest set, and it's
I think we have to be critical to Zappy of one thing. We can't tell him he's done everything.
no,
flawless,
because well, I mean this set does reveal that, you know, it wasn't optimal, because it also doesn't seem to be doing a great deal to Tangrowth.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have any setup or whatever, so I'm not really sure what that fourth move was, but if you didn't want to bring setup Glade, surely knockoff seems like a good fit in that position.
Yeah, and really considering like these seem like wasted turns.
Yeah.
From like turn 4, because like he can just go into Hydreigon and click
Claim
Dark
kill.
Pulse. I don't know, it seems like a very prolonged end to the battle, and I don't quite know why he's done it like that.
hmm and then
Um,
he does Milotic, which just lets like Slowking and Tangrowth do some regenerator shenanigans.
yeah. The constant switching
I
about.
think
I
it
feel
needs
like,
to be
yeah,
a-
if he'd have gone to Hydreigon 5 turns ago, the game would have been over much quicker. Instead, he's forced to play like really defensively weird.
Yeah.
And just lets this regen core get up and running continuously. And does it result in...
He gets the Dragalge in, but
Does the Dragalge go down?
Well, I would assume so because he let Slowking get back to full health.
I mean, I'm at turn 60 now.
Turn 60. I would assume he.
I mean,
The slack off just seems like a peculiar play as well.
yeah,
Just
eventually he
after
does
the
slow.
clip,
He does scold, and it. So
Yeah.
I think the whole series of plays with Gallade did end up costing costing him a differential, and in fact he loses Gallade anyway at the end of the game. So that cost him 2 differential when going into Hydreigon at any point between like turn 42 to turn 60 was just a guaranteed end to the game. So yeah, I completely agree that is the critical point, the fact that Zappy has cost himself 2 differential on not bringing in Hydreigon earlier. For sure. But yeah, I don't think I've got anything else to say about the game. Like, it was just better prep, it was just better predicted plays when necessary, and it was just a poor ending to the game, really, I think, that cost him 2 differential points, really. So yeah, are we ready to move on?
Yes. Let me just load up the the penultimate game.
It's not penultimate. 2 more.
Yeah, penultimate. Penultimate is second to last.
Oh, is it? Wow, I didn't realise. I thought penultimate was last. TIL. Right, so in this game that I'm about to put on the screen, we have it's the newly formed New Orleans Pincers, coached by Jay, taking on the Dublin Dunsparce, coached by Cam. I don't really have much to say at the outset. I will say that last week, do you know what? In fact, I'll leave that comment to the end.
I think coming into this, everyone thought it was just going to be sort of, well, from what we've seen from Cam and the fact that Jay's just came up from blue, we all thought it was just going to be Cam.
Yeah.
Cleaning through quite easily. Like, no offense to Jay, but Cam's what, like 2-time finalist?
2-time finalist now. Yeah.
And Jay's just come up from blue.
Right. So, starting in 3, 2, 1. I'm still a bit foggy on this game, so I can't remember. But turn 1, Mew versus Lot. Lot versus Steelix. Switch to the Mew, and Jay is able to get up a sub. Bit of a weird play considering. I suppose he was expecting the Will-O-Wisp actually.
Yeah, so that he could get a couple of +1 returns off in the hope that it killed.
So turn 4, we see the beginning of Heat, which is this workup Victini set.
Jay's just sort of scouting out to see if he can sweep with his setup sweepers.
Yeah.
Like, arguably, this is, you could say, the difference between yellow and blue. Whereas we were moaning in yellow, where like TB set up turn 1 and then just sacked his win con. Whereas Jay has realised he can't sweep, so he switched out. You can sort of see the difference.
For sure.
Checking to see what his Victini swapping is, and he saw it was defensive Azumarill for once.
Turn 9 is a massive turn in the battle.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
50.
I don't understand it, but he just.
I don't understand why Cam sacked
Cam
off.
thought he was going to double out of Victini, or he was going to kick work up.
I mean, that is a bold play to make early in the game. That is like the epitome of being over aggressive. I think
it's a lose-lose, or it's a win-win for me.
Yeah, because you can still burn Razu.
Yeah.
Yeah, which had Scold, so it could have been special, probably.
Yeah.
But still, chip on him on with no recovery is always going to be nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Completely agree. Yeah.
I think the Quillfish set is also, as it's just playing in the background. I think the Quillfish set's really good.
What turn are you at? Sorry.
Well, it starts at like turn 15. But are you on turn 15?
Yeah. Sorry, I've caught up. So it's the Thunderwave spikes.
I like the fact that it's taunt spikes with Rocky Helmet, because it beats Avalugg 1v1 being able to taunt the recover, and if Avalugg wants to keep rapid spinning away the spikes, it's going to kill itself to the Rocky Helmet.
Yeah,
so it kind of guarantees that it's going to keep up at least one spike.
It's a really solid utility set actually, which is not really what you expect from Quillfish in that regard. You know, you either expect it to be an offensive sort of fairy killer sort of deal, or you expect it to be just outright defensive. But sort of the utility that he's managed to fit onto this was really interesting to see. And again, turn 22, you see the work it's putting in versus the Avalug. Again, is it
I just think the taunt Rocky helmet is really
really solid
almost
versus the
Avalug.
Avalug? Absolutely, I absolutely agree. I mean, he does get the poison versus the Mew as well, which is, you know, optimal for him, considering it neuters the recovery. And he makes the bold play on turn 26 to stay in and taunt it as well to stop additional
Staying in taunt, yeah.
additional Calm Minds to allow Umbreon to just tank hits from it.
Yeah.
And it ultimately force the Mew out. Yeah, at the minute it just feels like Jay's able to bully the game.
Again, he goes straight, he goes hard on his Quillfish, which Mew could have tried to maybe, I don't know. I know it's like it probably was a no drawback play, but it sort of shows that Jay's playing a really, really good game. Like he expected the Como to come in, so he got his Quillfish in straight away.
Yeah.
It's a
Feel
very
like
it's
this
a very
game was
solid
pretty much-
predictive game.
Victini came in, it was kind of game, so that's what he was playing for.
Yeah,
He gets the Psychic on the Azu to do quite a good chunk.
I mean, I don't quite agree with the workup play.
Pardon?
So at turn, I'll just skip back. At turn 34, the Azu rests as he goes for the workup.
Yeah, especially when it still lived 2 Psychics with its leftovers. It would have had a chance.
And you're
to
risking that
make
water
it
stab
win.
as well. It just seemed
And
like
this
an
workup-
unnecessary risk.
Yeah.
But it paid off for him.
Fiction
So
is pretty much Nihilego.
you know, I can't fault it too much. And at this point, you know, like, you know that Como is going to be what Cam is forced onto Umbreon with.
Yeah. Going hard in Nihilego was I think he was predicting the bulk up, but it was a bit of an aggressive play because if he loses Nihilego, Victini just wins the game.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely agree on that. On that regard.
I feel like this game was struggle versus Victini, and just showing how good of a wall breaker Victini can be and how it can break down a team very well.
Unfortunate paralysis on turn 44 as well. After Como
At
lived a
that
hit.
time, yeah.
Victini shrugging the power gem off as well.
Yeah, which it probably wouldn't have been able to do had Como not been.
Yeah, he got a hit off on it.
Yeah. I feel like Cam could have played for a slight bit of differential here and got rid of the Victini with Mew.
Yeah. But he's just trying to see if he can beat it with Calm Minds, but I guess he wanted to see if he could win the game on Jay's misplay rather than just play for one more differential.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there is an instance where if Jay just kept Blue Flare and Cam would have been able to Calm Mind and heal up.
You have the comments about the game?
I don't really have much to share like that I haven't already said. Like, the main comment I will make is that last week in the post-draft casts and when we were making predictions, I said that Jay seemed to lack a huge amount of confidence, and that I went with Cam because of that. And I'll straight up say that, like, Jay's prep and play was way out of the park in what I expected to come out of him. So for sure, you know, I'll hold my hands up and say, you know, Jay, like, you far exceeded expectation.
About the confidence. This game. Because there were doubts in post-draft analysis about Jay's confidence going into Rock 1 and onwards.
Yeah, and if he can keep that same level, he will do really well this season, I think. For sure.
Beating a double finalist, that's nothing to be kept on. That's actually a really good achievement. So I feel like with that confidence, Jay can do a lot more now that he sees that he can win games if he just believes. Accordingly. So I'm really looking forward to see what Jay has in store for this season.
Yeah, for sure.
And if he can beat Cam, he can win the league. Like
Guys, pretty much.
Well, I mean, like I say, I'll make this point actually. The sets that Cam brought, I felt, were suboptimal in a lot of ways. So I won't say that like this was, this was like a dead set even match, because I felt that Cam shot himself in the foot a lot with his prep, and that was causative to the game being as one-sided as it was. Maybe Cam talked a lot pre-game about prepping heavily for Zygarde, which just never turned up to the match. So yeah, I mean, I won't say like it's definitive that that Jay beat Cam in the way that he did, but I take nothing away from the way that he performed this game at all. But if he can keep that confidence up, he can certainly take a good few results. I'm really confident in saying that now after seeing that performance.
So will we get until the last game?
Yes, we shall, because we are about to soon exceed 2 hours, which goes way beyond what we initially expected. But doesn't help we had a late start.
We need to somehow get speed.
Well, I mean, like the first 2 games had a lot to talk about, unfortunately, and I think any other week. Right, okay, regardless, getting sidetracked again. So, final game this week, we have the Heracross Mellow, coached by Showen, taking on the Miami Heatwave, coached by The Confusion. 2 pretty intriguing teams going up against each other. I
always love watching the Confusion battle, because you could spend hours writing down the perfect 6 to come against you, and he'll bring the 5 other mons with sets you just don't expect, and still give you a really good battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's incredibly difficult to prepare for.
Alright, so let's jump straight into this then. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Lead Coco versus Kabalion. It's just a matchup that favours Showen.
Yeah, but oh god, a +1 Mega Manectric,
it does give him that solid +1. Showen chooses to Volt Switch again.
Do we have a first turn Mega rule?
Yeah, it's first turn Mega.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that was just a prediction, it was a good one.
Well, yeah, it would have been bold as. I don't feel like there's a great deal to sort of say about the game as it progresses. Both players making the correct predictions. I mean, the Archeops going down at turn 7 when Showen just doesn't set up his rocks.
Yeah. Oh, is this a 3 attacks Bronzong?
I believe so, yeah. Heavy Slam, HP Fire, EQ. Yeah, it is.
Oi.
The crit on Kabalion was really unfortunate, I think.
Yeah.
Because it heavily weakened.
I think sacking his Kabalion just to do 80% of Bronzong is a bit of a misplay.
Yeah.
Not that he had like much else that could actually do damage to Bronzong looking at it. Like
I think
Manetrix Overheat.
And Persian beats it 1v1 easily.
Does
Do
it?
we have another Stank the Tank on the screen?
Yeah, it's the Skuntank.
The game was pretty much Coco wins from matchup, right?
I think that's the general
Coco
the general consensus. I feel like this sort of team for Confusion to come up against was really bad.
Oh, I'm surprised we never.
Yeah.
Turn 17.
Yeah, turn 17. There's no bullet punch coming out, which I did find intriguing because that was just a sack.
That
Crit Sucker Punch mattered a lot.
Yeah, because it was at -2 as well. So.
really unfortunate for him. You know, and to be fair, when I first glanced this game, I didn't notice like the couple of crits that Show and got really determined the game.
It would have stopped Coco being able to click Thunderbolt to win the game.
Yeah, I agree
Definitely.
completely. But looking at the matchup, I completely
Coco
agree
kind of
that
won from-
yeah, Coco's matchup kind of
Like all he had to
Coco,
do was
yeah.
keep the team down, work out what was scarfed, and keep Coco out of bullet punch range, and it kind of just won the game.
for sure. And even if it didn't win, Horlucha did anyway.
Yeah. So I think that was just a rough matchup for the confusion, because you also look at his team and he doesn't have much for Megazord X either. So like trying to deal with the Megazord X and Coco when you have no switch into any of them is a bit of a.
I looked at his actual team, and he could have brought like a Decidueye or a Sylveon to try and help.
But to be fair, Decidueye doesn't really beat Coco with access to like Brave Bird or.
I feel like it can live a hit and kill it back, right?
Possibly. But if it's like Z Brave Bird, it'll probably get OHKO'd.
Z Brave Bird. I'm pretty sure it was Specs, wasn't it? Or am I wrong?
Does Confusion even have ground type on his draft?
I think he does.
Just-
Flygon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
which-
Flygon is not a Coco switch in.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's not. Yeah,
Fair
Yeah.
enough that you didn't bring it.
that's what
I think that's just
say
a rough
about it,
matchup
really.
for the Confusion. I'm sure he'll bounce back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Will
did
come
I?
back into his favor.
I think I made a terrible error. I think I've had the replay off the screen for this last one.
What?
As in like, so in between the games, I take the replay off the screen. I think I forgot it to put it back up for the last one. Oh no. Oh well, I'll play it through now for the viewers' pleasure.
Oh, right.
Sorry,
right,
sorry,
yeah,
ladies and
okay.
gentlemen. Terrible error. I'll leave a note in the description as well. God damn it. Terrible.
Restart everything.
No.
No.
But yeah, as that plays through, do we want to take a look at the remaining
Week 2
games
predictions.
for week 2 and make predictions for them? A couple of games have already been played.
Alright.
So if somebody wants to get the schedule,
Loading up the
Are we
website.
looking
now.
at blue first?
yeah, start blue first. I'll tell you if those
We
games have been
have-
played from memory.
The Virginia Escavaliers versus the Dunfermline.
You haven't
Wait, no,
played
that's
yet.
week 4. Wait,
Wait, what?
Idiot.
What are you looking at?
I'm dumb.
Idiot.
Okay. The Washington Blizzards, which is replaced by Abe Tech, versus the Dunfermline. So
I'll
Abe.
stay out of this one.
I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about.
because
Abe
Abe
as
is
a
a dark
player.
horse right now.
I don't know anything about him as a player, but he is going up against, you know,
Yeah.
arguably one of the best players in blue.
And a man who's out for revengeance after last week.
I know, imagine playing flawlessly and go 0-1.
Terrible. I think for sure. I mean, I can't say for sure. I won't say for sure, but I think I favour Joqq in this match.
Next game is.
Am I the only one making a
I-
prediction?
Oh, I said Joqq.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
I'm going to stay out of it, but obviously I'm going to say myself every week, so.
Okay, next game. I'll stay out this one, but it's the Carolina Liferocks versus the London Garchomps.
I can't really look past King in this one, especially with Matrix's sort of. We spoke quite a lot about Matrix's poor play in week 1. That I can't really look past King in that match.
I think yeah. Unfortunately, like I think King's the one to take it this time.
Yeah.
I went with TB in the last game as well. I think I was the only one. But this game, I sincerely feel like this one goes on matchup to King.
We'll have to see. After that, it is the Virginia Cavaliers versus the Edmund Colliers. go Arctic versus Rain.
Arctic every time. I'm sorry. Austin's not competition.
Week 1, I'm gonna go Arctic. Yeah.
I think Arctic did play very well in this week 1, so I think Arctic will take that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
Next
clear
up,
cut.
it's DC Castworms versus the Vank. Oh, that happened.
Uh,
The UNC also happened.
has UNC happened? I don't know.
It happened while we were recording, so I don't think any of
About
us.
30 minutes ago.
I haven't watched it, so
I haven't watched it.
Goals
predictions.
versus the
I'm gonna say Birabon
Who's
to
he
come
playing?
back.
Sorry.
It's Johnson versus Birabon.
Burbon.
Oh,
I'm-
that's a hard one. I think.
I'm gonna say
Both of them
Birabon for
being-
this one. I think he'll be
Both
out
of
for
them being
revenge.
new, but
I guess I'll go Burbon as well.
I think- I think Biribon was wanting like a lot of mocks and a lot of team building helps. I think like with the extra effort he's put in this week, I think he'll have won.
Okay, cool. That's a unanimous win to Birabon.
Better win than Biribon.
Next up, I'll get onto the schedule
Next
as well.
up, it is the Pittsburgh Rosenthorns versus the MAM, which
Manchester Marie.
yeah,
I've got to go with Recon Jack.
Okay.
on that one.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Recon Jack, if he plays as consistently as he did,
I think the
This
fact is they
week.
both tried to play, and even though they both lost, they both tried to play hyper offense, and Recon Jack's attempt at hyper offense filled me with a lot more confidence than Fitzblitz's attempts at hyper
no, I
offense.
agree. So yeah, Pittsburgh Rosenthorn, I think for me in that one.
And now we jump over to yellow.
yellow.
Wait, DC? Did we talk about Emma's game or is that
They
happened?
played.
That's already
They've played,
happened,
right? Okay. I don't
and
think
I've
I.
watched it. I think.
Oh
Kendall
yeah. Okay. Don't spoil. Right, yeah, I remember that game now. Yellow Division.
I'm awful with these, like LAL versus LOS.
LA Lopanese versus Lowell
Bunnies
Spinder.
versus the
Lowell Spinder. So Lonely versus
Right.
Jaime.
I think
Jaime.
that's a hard one.
Jaime. I can't.
Again,
I'm gonna go lonely.
I think I'm going to go Lonely just because he's been getting a lot of team building help.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
I'm
Jaime
going
after
Jaime
that.
as well.
After he absolutely drowned Nathan in week 1.
That's fair enough. He did play very well week 1, but
Full on OP.
Cool. I'll stay out of the
Then
next
there's-
one.
yourself.
versus the
Toronto Bidoof, so that's Perp. If we
I'm
can
gonna
get the
go-
game done, because Perp might not be able to make the time, and I can't make the time tonight, so
I'm gonna go the Entes
I think I'm going to go the Entes as well. I think
as a player.
I might
think
still
if I
have
was
that
in-
early week curse, but I'm hoping I can pick up a win this week, for sure.
now we have the RTG, which is the Royal Thai Garchomps.
Royal Tiger Ninja.
Greninja, God, so close. And versus the Claire Legends.
Clay. CLE.
Claire.
CLE Legends.
I think I've got to go with Zafri just after Nathan getting sort of
Body bagged.
I
I feel
don't think
I feel like the Royal Tiger Ninja can take this one, especially since they didn't play badly against the PEC Buzzwole.
I just don't think he had much for when your defensive check to Celesteela takes 85% before it's even switched into it. You're gonna have a tough game.
I think I'm gonna go for the Royal Tiger Ninjas as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Next up we have
New
The
Orleans
Pincers, Jay.
Pincers versus Alex. Kansas City
I'm gonna
T-Bones.
go Jay.
I'm gonna back Alex.
I have to go with the old reliable in Alex.
I want to see
Yeah.
Jay make another upset and see if he can really set the league on fire. Because taking two fairly big names out this early on, it'd be crazy good for him. But yeah, I think Alex is the safe bet there. Miami Heatran versus PEC Buzzwell.
We've got back the champion, don't we?
I mean, yeah, I think something about Confusion's prep could throw Zappy off completely though. But,
Yeah, he
That's how Confusion gets a lot of his wins. He completely throws his
yeah,
opponents off.
but I
he's-
think PEC is a Oh wait, no, sorry. This isn't the Miami. This isn't the Miami Heat Waves. Sorry.
Oh,
this is Heracross Almelo. Sorry.
Oh,
So Showen versus Zappy. I'm still go Zappy.
I still think
Zappy,
it's
though.
Zappy. Still think it's Zappy. And then
And
the
then we have Miami
actual-
Heat Waves.
versus.
versus-
Oh, this game's already happened. This game happened really early.
Oh,
Yeah.
has it? We'll leave that one then.
So
yeah.
I won't comment.
Everything covered. Wild.
Right.
It
So
only
yeah,
took 4 hours.
it only
and,
took 2 hours and 9 minutes. So it's actually longer than the last
Hey.
one.
and one large mistake. And
Yeah. Anyway, regardless, let's wrap this up. So thank you very much, you guys, for sitting on the panel. Thank you very much to Lord Zeden for actually showing up to this Redcast
No.
and having an input for the first half. And thank you to special guest Lonely for his input into the cast this evening. So if you guys want to say your goodbyes, or not.
I guess that's a no. I was
Guess
waiting for King, to be honest.
Oh wait, what?
Are you going to say goodbye, or are you going to
Oh,
just sit in
goodbye
silence?
everyone. I'll see you some week when I explain my Bulu's the best in the world. Next.
I'm only coming back for my wins, so if I lose, I won't be back.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. And that's it from the Redcast for this week. Next week we will be looking at all of the action in week 2, followed by all of the trades and transactions and our predictions for week 3. So thank you very much to you all for watching. We will see you in the next episode. This is Regenix signing off.